Mark Levin is a total nut job. I think we can all agree on that one. And so, look, no surprise that he recently went on Hannity to scream about sandwiches and babies. Take a look.
There is no federal constitutional right to abortion, period. They amended the Constitution without amending the Constitution, period. And so now what are they trying to do? Now they're trying to tell us that science isn't science. The same people want to mandate masks and vaccines. Is that a baby in the womb? Is that a viable baby in the womb? At the very last minute, yes. It's not a salami sandwich. It's a viable baby in the womb. And we have states and governors that say you can abort that baby, even though it's viable. It's not a choice. It's a human being. So to the Democrat Party, women aren't women. Babies aren't babies. This is insanity.
Babies are babies. Salami sandwiches aren't people. I'm a very normal human being that screams at the camera. Wow. Okay. Now, look, let's get to the substance on this. Just insanity. He's right, but there's insanity here. Oh, all right. But I'm going to point out that it's actually him who's the insane person. All right. So now, first of all, he says, well, the Constitution says that you have no explicit right to abortion. Well, that's what Alito's argument is. Okay. So now Roe was decided on the idea of privacy. In the 7-2 ruling, the court at the time, this was in the 1970s, drew on the 1st, 4th, 9th, and 14th Amendments to the Constitution, saying that the Constitution will protect someone's zone of privacy or zones of privacy. They cited cases in which it was ruled that contraception, marriage, and child rearing were activities included in these zones, and found that the zones were broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. So this is all about privacy. Now, they also found that any limitations on abortion have to meet standards of strict scrutiny. That meant that there must have been compelling state interest in regulating abortion. So there's walking the line between the state having power to do regulation versus a person's individual freedom and privacy. So Republicans on this issue, they're anti-privacy and pro-big government. And so complete opposite of what they claim to be. And claim to care about freedom. Now, those state interests, those compelling state interests, were protecting the mother's health and protecting the potentiality of human life. So now, this is why the court created something called the trimester framework. In that trimester framework, going back to Mark Levin's insane rant, well, this is where he's proven to be a clown. So he says, it's a viable baby in the womb. And the states have governors that say that you can abort a baby even though it's viable. No, that's actually not allowed by Roe. What Roe established is the viability, right? It's now, once viability is established under Roe v. Wade, Roe allows the state to then ban abortions so that you can protect the potentiality of human life. That's it. Now, viability, of course, is apparently a hot topic, but this is what science says. Most experts say that the point of viability is about 24 weeks. In Casey, the court ruled that under the 14th Amendment, the mother had a constitutional right to an abortion, and that this right could not be unduly interfered with by the state prior to 24 weeks, prior to viability. That is known as the undue burden test. So, short answer, when it's viable, under Roe, you were never able to do an abortion unless, of course, there was the life of the mother that was in danger, or rape and incest. And so, look, when there's a viable baby, you can't do an abortion. And there's no such thing as abortion after the point of birth. That's just murder, and that's not allowed either. And so, and again, the reason I bring that up is because there are people that are out there spreading that narrative that, oh, Democrats are just murdering people. They're just murdering children as soon as they get out of the womb. That's insane. Absolute insanity. Look, if the fetus is already deceased or not viable, or it will kill the mother, then yes, the right of that person who is giving birth is protected by the Constitution. That's Roe. That set up that framework. The thing that you were talking about, viability, that's literally in Roe, which you support overturning. His logic makes absolutely no sense. And that's why he has to scream. That's why he's constantly screaming. I've almost never heard Mark Levin talk like a normal person. He just doesn't. He's incapable of talking like a normal person. And again, I have more facts. About 1% of abortions happen at 21 weeks or later for reasons that usually involve the health of the mother, or more importantly, barriers that were set up by Republicans that prevent people from getting abortions earlier. Now, all of those laws, as we've pointed out over the years, they were always trying to push women past the point of viability so that the state can kick in and legally regulate it. That's it. Now, for them, of course, all of that stuff that they've been using big government and, ironically, regulation to try to chip away at abortion access, well, that hadn't been working fast enough. And so now, they're just like, you know what? Now we have the Supreme Court, we're just going to get rid of it. Gone. And so they're using the worst lies and the worst smears that you could imagine. No, Mark Levin's a clown.